Well, hello everyone. My name is Drake. I'm a meditation instructor, a life coach, a public speaker. I do corporate trainings, I do group trainings, and I do individual coaching on levels of meditation and stress reduction, but also positive manifestation, building the life that we want to have and achieve. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining me here this morning. Hopefully you caught my blog post last night. So every day for this 40 days, I will be putting up a video in the morning and a blog post in the evening. I want to ask you, if you would, to go through this 40-day practice with me hand in hand and understand that there's a lot of people going through this practice at the same time. If you realize that, you can draw strength from them and they can draw strength from you. And that is one of the essential reasons why we're getting together. The three basic elements of developing a stress reduction practice are doing practice, actually doing these practices. You can't just listen to it and you can't just think about it or read books about it. You actually have to do the practices. And if you don't do it today, and today is not just literally this day, it's the figurative day. If you haven't done something within the last 7 days, it's now a dormant practice for you. I'm asking you to wake up a living, breathing practice. So you have to do practice. You have to study. Now, it's interesting, studying in today's world is different than it was when I was growing up. I grew up reading, and reading was my essential element of study. But, we're so lucky in today's world. We can study through this kind of means. And even in going and sitting with these great teachers, it's a form of study. What we're doing together is a form of study. And the third thing is called the Sangha in Buddhism or in Hinduism, or the spiritual community. So what we're doing is creating a community together right now in our separate homes. By doing this, we are supporting others in doing it. And they are supporting us. And so we're able to draw strength from them. So again, the first element we want to be aware of in creating this incredible shift that this time is calling for is practice, study, and community, and we have to wake up all three of those. So that's the first thing that we're going to be aware of. In this 40-day process, and I've been doing this for many years, and I have taken many people through this process. It's a customized process. It's an independent study. I'm asking you over the next 40 days to make a study of yourself. Make a study of what is soothing to you. Make a study of what is calming and positive to you. So we want to understand this. We want to develop a gradual process of intensification of those practices. So week by week during this 40 days, basically 6 weeks, I'm asking you to build with kindness, not by beating yourself up like we may have tried diets in the past, but with kindness, starting where you are and building gently and gradually till you peak. The 40-day practice is different for everyone. Everyone has a different learning process. Everyone has different capabilities. I have to admit, when I go to the gym, I'm always lifting like the least amount of anyone in the gym. At least when I was going to the gym. Of course, I'm not going now. Now, me getting a good workout is using those light weights and touching the edge of my capability. Right? If I'm trying to go far beyond what I'm capable of, instead of growth, I will create contraction. I will create injury. And so that is not how we want to do this process or aspire to do this process. We want to do it gradually with kindness until we peak. Don't just think that you can just do this in a sort of willy-nilly way. If you are going a long distance, wouldn't you have a map? So I'm asking you to create a map of the 40 days. Start off, write it down. Write down gradually what you will do to peak. I will help you develop skills and processes and elements of study that will help you to peak at that time. Your best self is calm. It is not filled with rage. It's not filled with fear or hatred. It is calm. So when I'm suggesting to us each, excuse me, is that we create that relationship to calmness. So, coming through it, how do we do it? One of the first elements that we have to be aware of is our truest and deepest values. So my values are kindness, compassion, joy, and positive indifference. Let's break each of those down real quick. Kindness. There's nothing more important than kindness. Kindness is essential. If you are not acting in kindness, you are not coming from true authenticity, right? Your life is one whole. If you're not being kind, what you're trying to do is fracture elements of your life off. You're trying to have a contraction. You're trying to withdraw from that element. You can't withdraw from your life. It's like a cat I had at one time that got its head caught in a plastic bag and freaked out and was running, trying to get away from it. He couldn't get away from it. I had to help it. I had to support it in taking off the bag. So kindness is about, in this process, a gradual, easy change. Start off and build to the end of the 40 days. The second value is compassion. Compassion. And by the way, if kindness is there, compassion will also be there. And that's what happens with all of my essential values. Each one leads into the other. Okay? So if you really are effective with one, you will be effective with the others. In compassion, I'm asking you to be aware and to care about those around you, not just the ones that you like. Not just the ones that you like. Your life as a whole. If you're hating anyone in your life, you are hating a portion of your life. And you cannot become happy by hating your life. It doesn't mean that we're okay about things that have happened. I have been so disturbed in this last few years, I cannot even tell you. And yet I know that in the process of my own experience, that this is happening for me to become more authentically myself and to become my best self. So that's one of the questions I would suggest you ask yourself. Are you becoming more or less yourself as a result of this? Do you find yourself doing and saying things that you would have been, like horrified to have heard yourself do or say some of the things that people do and say? So I'm asking that you be aware of those values, your essential values. Now, in this 40-day process, build slowly, week by week. And you can't just do this willy-nilly. Sit down and structure. Write down what you're going to do. Doesn't mean it has to be permanent, but you can change it as you go. But write down what you're going to do and build it to a peak. How much are you doing these practices? Slowly all the way to the top. And what you might do and what I might do might be very different. And your capability and my capability, you might have far greater capability than I do. So if you are touching your edge of capability, it may not be mine. In fact, if I was to touch your edge of capability, I might rupture my own and actually have a contraction. So we're going to build throughout the whole 40 days and peak at the end. Now, secondarily, finally, be aware of the power of subtlety. If you can be aware of subtlety in the midst of intensity, this is called self-mastery. So in this 40 days, we will build and we will make something amazing happen together. We will change the world together. And this is what we have to do to make a difference. Don't jump out there and then come back. Come from here and then go outward. Come from here and then go outward. So thank you so much. Please be patient with me in this process. This is completely new for me. But if you and I are patient with each other, we are going to be able to do something amazing together. We are going to be able to touch our edge. This is all a process of firewalling our consciousness. We are creating a firewall that will protect us from all that's going on. If you are in a burning house, you don't breathe in deeply. So be aware of limiting the relationship to the news. Right? How many times are you jumping up in the morning and immediately hopping to the news? I'm not saying we don't need to be informed. Of course we do. But you know a lot of what you're doing is not about being informed. What you're doing often is about just simply reinforcing what you already believe. I'm not even saying you're wrong about what you believe. But I am saying that in order to become your authentic self, you have to start from awareness and build into it. Right? So thank you very much. Be patient with me with this process. I will get better at it. Okay? So, by the way, I will, again, in the morning, check the video. In the evening, check the blog. You can ask questions. I ask that you be positive. If you are coming off with some sort of judgment, I'm just not going to go there. But if you are sincerely working at creating a process, I am glad to be connected with you, right? And even if you're not, I'm still glad to be connected with you. I'm just not going to step into any sort of bouncing forth of conflict. It's not what I'm about, all right? So let's step up. Let's do this. We can make a difference, and the difference needs to be made today. So, firewalling our consciousness will gradually build to it. Now, in the beginning and at the end, I will always ring a bell. I would suggest that you begin to create some ceremony around your practice. Lighting a candle, doing practice in the same space consistently, right? At the beginning and the end of our sessions, we will ring a bell. So here we go. So, let's do this thing today. Let's recognize our expansiveness. Don't be right here with all the things that are happening. Realize your size. Your size is the size of your whole awareness. Namaste.